Have you ever felt trapped by this weird paradox where you have these massive ambitions, these huge dreams, but you just feel kind of lazy day to day? Well, today we're going to smash that cycle, and we're going to do it with a really powerful ancient lesson from the samurai. I mean, does this hit close to home? You can see your future so clearly, you know exactly what you want to achieve, but when it's actually time to do the work, you just hit a wall. You are definitely not alone, and believe it or not, the fix for this very modern problem lies in some really old wisdom. So to really get what's going on here, let's kick things off with a story from feudal Japan. It's about a young samurai whose struggle is probably going to feel very, very familiar. He had all the ambition in the world, but he was stuck going absolutely nowhere. Meet Yuki. This guy spent his days reading about heroes, talking a big game about his plans, and just imagining himself covered in glory. But see, he made this huge mistake. He thought that just wanting it bad enough was the secret to greatness. But when it came time to actually pick up his sword and train, oh, the excuses started rolling in. The weather's not quite right. I'll start tomorrow for sure. I just need to plan this out a little bit better. Sound familiar? Yeah. He was an absolute master at putting off the real work for some perfect day that, of course, never showed up. And just like that, the years started to just slip away. As you can see here, his dreams only got bigger, but his actual skills, they stayed exactly the same. He had to watch as younger, more disciplined warriors just blew right past him. And after 15 years, he had to face this gut-wrenching truth. His ambition wasn't his strength. It was a poison that had left him totally paralyzed by regret. And that right there, that's the dreamer's trap. See, there's a weird comfort in just dreaming. His brain gave him this little hit of dopamine just for planning to be great. And that created this massive gap between the hero he saw in his head and the reality of his life. He was completely lost in it. So why does this happen to us? Well, to figure that out, we've got to dismantle a huge myth that trapped Yuki, and honestly, still traps so many of us today. And that is the myth of motivation. Okay, and this is the whole game changer. We're all taught to wait for that lightning bolt of motivation to strike before we get started. But the samurai knew the truth is the complete opposite. You don't wait for motivation. You act first, and motivation is the result. Action is the spark that lights the fire you've been waiting for. The legendary swordsman Miyamoto Musashi, he got this. He didn't sit around waiting for some big moment of inspiration. He built his incredible skill through these small, steady, daily actions. For him, greatness wasn't some dramatic lightning strike. It was the quiet, humble, and kind of boring discipline of just showing up every single day. Think about it like this. Waiting for motivation is like standing at a trailhead, waiting for the perfect sunny day to start a long journey. You could be waiting forever. Meanwhile, the person who's willing to walk in a little rain, a little mud, they're already miles down the road. Success belongs to the people who act no matter how they feel. So if waiting around is the trap, how do you get out? Well, the samurai had a principle for this, a super practical way to build skill that doesn't depend on your feelings at all. It's called the way of Kaizen. The word is Kaizen, and it basically just means continuous improvement. It's a whole philosophy built on one simple idea: making tiny, almost unnoticeable improvements every single day. The goal is to completely forget about these massive, heroic efforts and instead focus on tiny, repeatable actions that build an unstoppable foundation over time. There's this amazing samurai saying that captures it perfectly. The mountain is climbed one step at a time, not by staring at its peak. Staring at your huge, massive goal is overwhelming, right? It paralyzes you. So the key is to forget the peak and just focus all of your energy on the single step right in front of you. So how do you actually do this? It's almost ridiculously simple. First, you pick one action that's so small it feels insignificant, like, say, a student practicing just one single sword form, just once. Second, you do it every day without fail, no exceptions. Soon, momentum starts to build, your discipline gets stronger, and before you know it, that one tiny action becomes a rock-solid foundation for real mastery. And this chart shows you exactly why this is so powerful. That grand plan with one big burst of effort and then nothing, it gets you nowhere. But that tiny, consistent daily effort, the one that feels like it's not even doing anything, it compounds over time into true mastery. It's a simple truth. The smallest daily action is infinitely more powerful than the grandest plan you never act on. Okay, this brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of this samurai mindset. It's all about learning to prioritize your commitments over your feelings, which, let's face it, change all the time. It's about choosing action over emotion.
Let's just be honest with ourselves for a second. How many of us spend weeks preparing or planning? The samurai would call that what it is, a very clever disguise for procrastination. Talking about the work and actually doing the work are two totally different things. One gives you the illusion of progress. The other creates actual progress. Here's another piece of killer wisdom from the master swordsman Yagyumu Nenori. Waiting for the right moment, when you're feeling motivated, when you have more time, when life's a little less stressful, that's a trap. And spoiler alert, that perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment you ever really have is right now.
This means we have to completely flip our definition of strength. Strength isn't about feeling powerful and ready to go. True strength is the ability to take action when you feel tired, when you feel lazy, when you feel totally and completely uninspired. It's the discipline to move forward through the resistance, not in the absence of it.
And if you remember nothing else, remember this. This is the ultimate summary of the samurai mindset. Your feelings, they're temporary, they're unreliable. But your commitments, that's the bedrock you build your life on. Strength isn't saying, I feel like doing this. It's saying, I will do this, whether I feel like it or not.
So the power to change your life doesn't come from waiting for the right feeling. It comes from acting without it. So forget the mountain. Forget the grand plan for a minute. What is your one small step? The one tiny action you can commit to today and every day after? The answer to that question, that's where your true journey begins.